you're going to be on trial for pie crimes and misdemeanors. Well, I don't know that I have any particular follow-up for this episode. Do you?
No.
I guess technically the bass tournament this weekend is follow-up. It went well. Like I mentioned before, this is a company-sponsored appreciation bass tournament for all of our customers in the East Texas area. Frankly, people come from all over. We had people from Louisiana, from Arkansas, from Oklahoma, even people from Amarillo and Odessa, which is pretty far from where we were. The tournament was at Lake Fork, which is a little bit north of Tyler, Texas. Our company is a distributor, so we invite all of our customers to come and hang out and enjoy themselves. Also, a lot of our suppliers or vendors come and kind of entertain us and the customers. So there's lots of free beer, lots of free food, and really good food. Like there were ribs, we had some catering come. One of our vendors is fairly noteworthy, Klein Tools, and they make pliers and screwdrivers and things like that. Anyways, one of their reps makes really good breakfast sandwiches. He basically makes a huge sheet made of bacon, sausage, Canadian bacon, and cheese, and he rolls it all up, cooks it on a grill, and then slices it and then puts that in between biscuits. So it basically ends up being a huge pinwheel of meat on a biscuit, and it is so good. He makes it every year, and that's frankly what I look forward to the most.
That sounds awesome. Shelby, what did you eat this weekend? Well, I had a bowl of cereal for I think every meal from like Friday morning through Sunday morning. It's just like, oh, look at that. It's time to eat. Better have a bowl of cereal. Not to be fair, I do really like cereal.
I think the trope is that whenever the wife goes away, the husband just has like Oreos and Pop-Tarts and pizza rolls. And it almost seems like it's the opposite. When I go away, you have cereal.
I think it's true both ways. Like usually if I'm out of town, you will just either go eat at your parents' house or eat garbage here. I think the thing is just that we both do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I lean more towards taquitos, pizza rolls, sometimes fish sticks, Kraft mac and cheese, PB&Js.
Usually if I'm eating by myself for an extended period of time, it's while I'm pet sitting. So it's while I'm staying in someone else's home. So it's easiest for me to just take some dry goods and a gallon of milk. So usually when I'm staying by myself for very long, I'm eating like bagels, cereal, whatever they have at their home if they've told me to eat their food, which many of them do. And that was the case this weekend.
To wrap up the tournament, it was pretty rainy Saturday. There were actually some tornadoes not too far away from us. I mean, we weren't in any danger at all, but there was a lot of rain and thunder and lightning. I guess the spot we usually stay in isn't very good for rain. We are just kind of on the side of the lake. There's no concrete pads or anything. It's just dirt. And so the 10 people came and just set up in the usual spot. We didn't think anything of it. But by 9 a.m. on Saturday, it had been raining for hours and hours and hours. And most of the area underneath the tent was just completely waterlogged and like a proper mud pit. I don't mean like a little bit of mud. Like you could lose a shoe in it. I watched someone lose a shoe in it. They were walking and had both shoes on, and then they took one too many steps and they were literally missing a shoe. It was horrible. I was wearing like proper above the ankle boots, and I was fine for the most part. I was also wearing wool socks, which I was thankful for. But anyone else that wasn't wearing like waders, galoshes, rain boots, regular boots, was totally screwed. I watched everyone else that was in like sneakers, just like mud literally overfilling and just seeping into their socks.
Why would you not just take the shoes off?
Because we live in a society and that's gross. We watched someone do that last week at the medieval fair and it was horrible.
I was impressed by them. If I were not wearing appropriate footwear, that's what I'd be doing too.
I see your point about kind of like owning it, basically being like, okay, I'm in a situation, I'm not properly equipped, I need to work through this, I need to resolve it. I can kind of see that, but when there's that much gunk around, I don't know.
It makes me think of like carrying an umbrella in a tsunami. It's just an inconvenience at that point. Like, you're soaked head to toe anyways. Now you just have these big weighty things at the end of your feet dragging you deeper into the mud.
Yeah,
Just
I
take
get
them
that.
off. Throw them away. They're not going to be any good anyways.
Yeah.
And particularly with that kind of group of people, like, these are people coming to this event to go fishing for a whole day. And it's not like fishers aren't civilized by any mean. Like, I thoroughly enjoy fishing, but it's not like we're at some sort of beauty pageant or something like that. Like, these are good blue collar people. Just take your shoes off. We're in Texas.
You're not wrong, but the overarching vibe of the weekend is like tough manliness.
Yeah, exactly.
Some could even say
take your shoes off.
Some could even say maybe toxic manliness.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of that going on. I'm sure that there is a lot of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, there is. But I guess that's my point, is that like you can't be a salesperson selling to all these bubbas with no shoes on in mud. Like it just can't happen.
This is precisely why I would not be a good salesperson. This reminds me of whenever I was working on the political campaign last year. We were hosting this big event that was at a VFW. And the governor was speaking to a bunch of veterans, and it was a pretty large event. I did not come in the appropriate shoes. I came in nice little dress flats, because I did not anticipate this for my day. And I pretty much, as soon as I got there, took my shoes off, threw them in the van, and just ran around barefoot the rest of the day. It was an outside event. The ground was very hot, but the shoes were tearing up my feet. I got a lot of gruff from the team leaders from other more urban areas that some random girl was running around here handing out water and she's barefoot. I kind of go back and forth between having great pride in that thing that I did and also being a little embarrassed.
I think it really just depends on the situation, whether or not it's better to kind of continue in the facade of what you're wearing or like what you're doing, and then when to just kind of give up the ghost and quit. Probably both in your situation and in this situation. I think they're both keep your shoes on situations.
No, my situation was an incredibly casual event. Like, there was an important person there, but everyone was there in shorts and tank tops and everyone was sweaty, so it wasn't formal. Why would you not just take your shoes off? I disagree.
I think back to how Michael reacted in Norman whenever he saw that girl with her shoes off. He was like horrified. He's not a germaphobe by any means, but when he saw the girl with her shoes off, he was like uncomfortable for her and for him.
That's crazy.
Because I think for some people, well, first of all, let's just acknowledge some people have a foot thing in general. Like, they don't want to look at their feet, and they definitely don't want to look at other people's feet. So that's one thing. But I think there's very much a sentiment of just like you're not supposed to be in public if you're not wearing shoes, period. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's the thing.
Blah.
And I say this as someone who never has shoes on in the house. I mean, as soon as I come in, I walk upstairs and I kick my shoes off.
That's something that's so interesting to me in the differences in how people live. And it's one of those things that I don't see any consistency within like socioeconomic levels or anything like that. I've never been able to predict or assume when I walk into somebody's home, like if I know them, if it's going to be appropriate or not for me to take my shoes off. Like, obviously, I will then look around and see, well, the people that live here, do they have their shoes on? And if they do, I will politely keep mine on. But it's very interesting to me how many people just keep their shoes on in their home. Ugh, just sounds like a horrible way to live.
And of course, we should acknowledge both of us are aware that what we're discussing is different in different countries. Sometimes you're supposed to wear your shoes. Sometimes you definitely, like, I think in maybe Eastern Asia, you, like, never would wear your shoes in a house. That would be terrible, I think. Anyways, I just want to acknowledge that we're speaking about American traditions and thoughts on this.
Certainly.
It was funny to me how different my experience of the weekend was than basically anyone else, either from the customers or from the other employees working with me. Basically, Friday night and all day Saturday are just a nonstop tailgate. There's, like I said, there's free food, there's free beer. Almost everyone is drunk by 5. Following all the events throughout the day, the event organizers, and then generally speaking, the kind of higher profile customers, are usually then invited to kind of a private party or parties from some of these vendors and sales reps. And then there's even more drinking and even more cooking and even more free food. And after all this, that usually wraps up about 9 or 10. Then the final stage of the night is going to the bar. There's some big bar. I think it used to be called East Fork. I think it may have changed names now. But it's some sort of huge country bar in the area. And that's where everyone goes at 9 or 10 or 11, whenever all the activities kind of wrap up. And then they're there until, I don't know, I guess 12, 1, 2 in the morning. Now, this is not how I live my life. I usually left early from the kind of like evening activities, like 9, maybe 10 at the latest. And I was in the hotel room taking a shower, watching some TV, tucking myself into bed. And like as I was doing that, they were getting ready and driving to the bar. I'm relating this back to how my experience was different. All of them, were completely wasted the whole weekend, both in an alcohol sense, but also in a like mental sense. Like they just weren't awake and they weren't alert and they weren't really thinking straight.
In a functional sense, like there's only so well that you can function as a human if you are that intoxicated for that long at once.
Yeah. There was something in particular that caught my attention on Sunday morning that someone said to me. I don't remember what it was, but it just like clicked in my head like, oh, every night I've been going to bed sober at 9:30 and everyone else has been going to bed drunk at 1:30 a.m. And we're all getting up at the same time, so that leads to very different mindsets for me and for them. Personally, that sounds exhausting to me. I'm not here to judge, but that is a very different experience than I had. And that's normal to some people. I have literally never gone out and gotten drunk and done things like that. But everyone's different.
I think I could very easily be that person. But since I didn't do that in high school and I didn't really do it in college, it's not something that I would be used to doing now. But I feel like if I had just had 1 year that was a little bit different in high school or college, in an alternate universe, not that far off, I could very easily be someone who just goes on a bender all weekend and manages to function.
Yikes.
As it turns out, that's not who I am.
Well, anyways, enough about the bass tournament. What were you doing while I was gone?
I was teaching classes every morning and every night. I was taking care of dogs, mine and other people's. Pretty much all the time that I wasn't doing that, I was sleeping. I was just kind of sleeping on and off, a little bit in the night, a little bit in the day, a little bit in the evening. I've just been so tired. But I've been teaching a lot, which I'm happy about. I was, initially concerned about if I was really going to be able to make as much money from it as I wanted to. And I feel like I definitely will be able to do that. Now I just have to be able to find a balance between how much money I want to make and how to make sure that I'm getting the rest that I need to get through my classes without being sick. A couple nights ago, I was just physically sick from exhaustion, and you can't teach a student when you feel so bad. Like that's not fair to them. That's not what they're paying for. So just trying to find that balance. And then this Sunday at church was my first Sunday on our praise team, and it went really well, and it was awesome to be part of a band again. Sunday evening night, we had a little birthday celebration for my mom. So I made deviled eggs and little sausage, cream cheese, croissant pinwheels, and Nate brought pies.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that. The restaurant at the Lake Marina is very good, and they also make amazing pies. Last year, I chose German chocolate brownie cake pie.
Brownie cake pie?
Yeah, that's what it was. It had like brownie at the bottom of the pie.
But wouldn't it just be German chocolate brownie pie?
I don't know. That's just what someone told me it was called.
Okay.
I didn't eat it because I don't like German chocolate stuff because it has nuts in it.
Crazy.
Anyways, I got that, and then I also brought home a strawberry rhubarb, which is kind of an unusual pie, but I love it.
It's one of my favorites.
So this year I was kind of asking around for what our family wanted. Olivia told me, she was like, well, maybe you could get a strawberry one, but please don't put the rhubarb in it.
That sounds like a bad pie.
I mean, it would be good, but it's better with rhubarb.
It's better with rhubarb.
I ignored her, as I often do. And I got a blackberry pie, I got a chocolate icebox pie, and I got a key lime pie. All three were delicious. I would rate them in order from best to worst. Probably blackberry, key lime, and then chocolate. To be clear, all three were amazing. Mm-hmm. But I'd say the blackberry and key lime were particularly good, where the chocolate was just very good.
Here's the thing about me. I don't like chocolate pie at all, primarily because I don't like chocolate pudding. And chocolate pie is chocolate pudding. But I love anything with chocolate and peanut butter. So I improvised.
By improvised, you mean mutilated the pie.
Nothing I did was particularly extreme.
You committed a crime towards the pie.
No. I took my beautiful slice of chocolate pie, which was very pretty, that I had no interest in eating the way it was.
It was very pretty and very natural and very innocent.
And then I got a giant spoonful of peanut butter.
And murdered it.
Kinda, yeah. I slapped the peanut butter on top, but see, then you have to mix the peanut butter in with the pie. So then I proceeded to kind of whip the pie up. I took my fork and my peanut butter and my pie. For any artists out there, as one might mix paints together on a palette, I took my palette knife and I kind of spread all the components of it out and scraped it all together in little layers and
spread around what used to be called pie.
I will say by the end of it, it was certainly not pie, but it was very good.
It was the corpse of a pie.
It was the corpse of a delicious pie. Well, no. It was the delicious corpse of what was formerly known as pie. I thoroughly enjoyed it then.
I would rule it legally dead.
I would rule it as very tasty. A very tasty little treat for Shelby. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I also did the exact same thing tonight with leftover pie, so I guess I can actually say 10 out of 10 would do again. Because I have now done again.
10 out of 10 did again. Have already committed the same crime again. You're a repeat offender, I would say.
Hey.
Okay, enough about pie. I'm worried about this podcast. Last Monday's episode, we recorded for about 15 minutes, and we cut it down to 30 minutes, but it also took a whole other day. And here we are. Right now it's 9 p.m. on a Monday, and we're 33 minutes in. And this was supposed to be a short episode, but we really got waylaid by the alcohol and by the pie. I just keep thinking if we should move this to once a week.
I have been suggesting that for a while.
Okay, no. This is some revisionist history here. You were the one that suggested doing it daily. I said, let's do it once every weekday. And then you were like, nah, let's just do it every day. Why not?
Because initially it was seriously going to be the highlight of our day. Like, you come and you say, what's the best thing that happened to you today? See you next time. Goodbye. Bye now. That's what it was going to be. And then it turned into all of the good and the bad of the day. And that takes way too long. But then also, we're not interesting enough to talk about anything every day. I mean, my whole thing from the last weekend has been I ate cereal and I watched dogs. That's literally been my entire weekend.
And you slept.
And I slept. Not enough, but I did sleep.
Yeah. I don't know. This one may be late too. We'll see.
I mean, I know I'm going to bed as soon as we stop recording. So.
Oh, I have to mention this. I already made the show art. So I have to mention that the show art is the biggest bass that was caught at the tournament. Clearly the show art should have been pie.
Oh, yeah. Did you take any pictures of the pie?
No.
I think I still have a dirty plate with the remnants of what was formerly known as pie.
No.
It would be kind of artistic. It would look like abstract art with little streaks of black and tan. And
I would only do that if I also photoshopped on like yellow tape, like of a crime scene. A pie crime happened on this plate.
I don't know what your problem is, Nate. It was really good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, stop. You're going to be on trial for pie crimes and misdemeanors. That's it. Pie crimes and misdemeanors.
Is that going to be the name of today's episode? It doesn't follow our traditional format.
We're breaking the tradition. That's it.
Dumb joke.
Alrighty. See you next time.
Oh. I wasn't ready.
See you next time.
I spit all over my mic.
See you next time.